Hi everyone, my name is Delaney, and for my lab experience, I did yoga. And as many people know, there's a lot of different forms of yoga. It's not just like one specific exercise. And so there's yoga that focuses more on movement, and for that, you do a lot of different poses, and you focus more on the movement of how to get from one pose to the next. While in yoga, such as like meditation yoga or yoga that focuses on deep breathing, you do less poses, but you hold them for longer periods of time. And this really helps like stretch your muscles and like just calm your body down. And it helps a lot to like relieve stress because it's just very calming. So for my final paper, the first article that I found was called Five Benefits of Yoga for Strength Training and Flexibility, and it was written by Precor, which is an exercise company. And so it goes through some benefits, and these include improving your hip movement and your flexibility, providing strength training, promoting good posture, improving both your heart and lymphatic health, and then also improving your mental health. So a big one of this that I saw in a lot of different articles was that it improves your flexibility, and yoga does this, especially in types of yoga where you're holding positions for longer periods of time. It really helps like elongate and loosen and relax your muscles, and when you do this for large periods of time, it increases your flexibility. And then yoga also, because it can be very calming, it can actually slow your heart rate and blood pressure, which helps with your heart health. And then for your lymphatic health, some of the movements that are done in yoga help stimulate your lymphatic glands, which overall just improves your lymphatic health. And then the second article that I looked at was called Take a Stand for Yoga Today. And it really focused more on like the mental aspect of yoga, and it talked about how yoga can relieve your stress, and it also is shown to sharpen attention and control ADHD in some circumstances, and it also just overall improves your mood and behavior. And some of the like aspects that were mentioned in this article is that yoga calms your nervous system, and when this happens, your body releases less adrenaline, which is responsible for your body's fight or flight response. And that is part of the big reason why yoga is so relaxing, because you don't go into that like fight or flight mode. And then it mentions again that it eliminates toxins through your lymphatic system, which helps with lymphatic health. And something that was interesting that I did not know about was that it said that it is shown that yoga also can help your digestive system by just extracting more nutrients, which I did not know about. And then my last piece of popular literature was called How Practicing Yoga Benefits Your Health, and it went through 9 ways that yoga is beneficial. And some of these include, again, relieving stress. This one showed that it improves your quality of sleep, that it helps symptoms from chronic pain, multiple sclerosis, asthma, and arthritis, that it helps you fight heart disease, and that it also reduces symptoms from PTSD. And so part of the reason why it helps your heart health is because it maintains balance between the body and your mind. And when that happens, it decreases your heart rate and reduces the amount of cortisol released in your body. And when your body's just more relaxed and not working as hard, it helps your heart health. And then when your body is more like relaxed and does not have as much stress, you get a better night's sleep. And then there's not like a lot of research shown about how it improves your asthma symptoms, but they're basically kind of just going off the fact that when your body's calmed and you learn a lot of the like deep breathing techniques, that it can help with symptoms of asthma. And then finally, for like back pain and multiple sclerosis and arthritis, it basically just said that by doing all these different poses, which help strengthen your muscles and help loosen your muscles and strengthen like all that stuff, that it can help with these symptoms. And so then the first piece of scientific literature that I looked at was called Yoga Practice in the UK, and it was a cross-sectional survey of how yoga helps your motivation, health benefits, and behaviors. And so throughout the study, it showed that 87.1% of those who participated had an improvement in their physical strength, 86% had improvements in their mental health, 82.6% reported lower stress levels. And this survey had like over 2,000 participants, so that really helped with having a larger sample size that many people did have these benefits. And then another piece of scientific literature that I found was called Effect of Yoga Based Physical Activity on Stress, Anxiety, and Quality of Life in Young Adults. And this was a study that was done in Turkey. And this, part of the reason why the evidence wasn't as strong is because they had two groups. They had a yoga group and then a control group. In the yoga group, there was only like 45 participants, and the control group only had 50, and so only 45 of those people were actually engaging in yoga. And the age range was only 18 to 25, and so that kind of hurts when you have such like a low range of ages, because obviously like different ages have much more stress in their lives than others, and so it would have been more beneficial to look at like a larger range of ages. But it didn't really have a lot of information in this article. It basically just stated that a lot of those who did yoga decreased stress and anxiety levels, but none of them reported that they had a better quality of life after doing yoga. And then for my last piece of scientific literature, I looked at an article that was called Yoga Effects on Brain Health. And this was a systematic review of 11 different studies that were done. And I thought this one was the most interesting because it looked at how yoga can actually change the anatomy and physiology of your brain, which I thought was really cool because I didn't know that yoga could do that. But basically what they did was they looked at MRIs from people who both practiced yoga and then didn't practice yoga, and they saw a difference in thickness of the hippocampus, amygdala, and prefrontal cortex of those who did yoga based versus like not doing yoga. And then something else that was really interesting to me was that when they did tests on the brain and like did scans of the brain while people were doing a task, they found actually like less action in the brain of those who practice yoga than those who didn't. And so now there's a lot of more research that needs to go into this. Obviously, it's kind of like a new idea that has come up. And so I'm excited to see if there is more research ahead that talks about this.